Hi, it's fall again and it's time that we do a pumpkin project. Come join me. Hi, Amy with Experience the Quilt. I love fall and it's my favorite season right now. Every year I have to do a project that is centered around pumpkins and corn and leaves and apples. I just love it. Last year I made this really cute quilt behind me and I had so much fun couching these little pumpkins all over it. It was so much fun. So this year I decided I needed a wall hanging. Now this is a project that can be a pillow or a wall hanging, you choose. But I found a scrap of my hand painted fabric and thought this is the perfect color for a pumpkin. It's so fun. So I love hand painting fabrics, and if you want to learn more about it, I have a video on my channel and we'll have a link in this video for you to just click right on over to it. But it gives such gradation. So I have the lighter part of the fabric here and I have a darker part of the fabric. And I love that when it comes to a pumpkin, because if you ever look at a pumpkin, they're not always just perfectly orange. They have some light spots and some dark spots, at least the pretty pumpkins that I have found. So I went online and I found this cute pumpkin pattern. It was just a little piece of clip art. And you can do that too. It's super easy. Or you don't have to at all. You can just, if you're awesome at drawing, or even if you're not awesome at drawing, this is a great project that you can just start doing. It's so fun. So I traced this onto my hand painted fabric, okay? My orange. So you are going to need, I should say, before we get started, a background piece. I chose green. You can choose whatever color you want as long as it goes with your pumpkin. It needs to be about 17 by 15 inches is about the size that I keep this project. If you have a certain size pillow, then I would definitely do it to that size. I have about a 12 by 12 inch or scrap piece of orange fabric. You need about a 3-inch square of brown fabric for your stem, a rotary cutter, and scissors, and a fabric marker, and some fusible adhesive. My fusible adhesive is already attached to my fabric because this is some fabric that I already used it with fusible, so I thought, double whammy, it's already done. If you don't have yours, I would suggest you attach it to your fabric first. So just press it to your orange fabric on the wrong side first before we start. Then trace your pumpkin. Place it on a light board. Mine is so light that I was able to trace it just here on the table, but a light board works great, or a window. You can trace against a window, whatever works for you. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my scissors and we're just gonna cut out our shape. And I drew with a water-soluble marker. I highly suggest that, but you can use an air marker. This is a pretty fast project, so you can use an air dry marker as well, or an iron away marker, any kind that you find that works for you. So I'm just cutting my pumpkin, and if you want to seriously hand do this, like just draw an oval, kind of, a bumpy circle, that would work great too. I have a lot of students that say, give us a pattern, give us a pattern. So I would suggest, if you want a pattern, look up a pumpkin online, and they're everywhere. It's so easy to find. But as I was drawing it, I was like, oh, this really is a simple pumpkin, because we're just doing the outline of it first. Now my fusible adhesive is on the back already. You want it to be on the back already attached before you go any further from this step. Now also I suggest doing your pumpkin the size like I'm doing about a 10 by 10, because as you cut it apart, you're going to spread it and it's going to take up more space on your background. So I wouldn't do your pumpkin too big. Right now this seems a little on the small side, if you can see, according to my background, but we're cutting it apart. This is called a shattered pumpkin. Years ago, like 15 years ago, I don't remember who, but someone online was talking about shattered circles. And I loved it. It was so much fun. I've made several of these shattered circles. And you just cut a weird oval, circle-y shape and start cutting it apart. And then you put it back on your background. And I added beads. You can see that I have a little wooden bead here and some seed beads. I just quilted the heck out of it, practicing my quilting skills. And don't even look close because the binding on this is atrocious. I made this like so long ago. But I've made several of them and they're just fun. Great way to practice your skills. A little fun, modern, easy gift to give away. So I'm taking my rotary cutter now and I am going to cut, just kind of mimicking the lines of this pumpkin. I'm not going to do all of them. That's probably too many. I'll probably do at most about 5. 5's a good odd number for art, right? So I'm going to first cut my middle one and kind of cut a curve, because you want curves as your pumpkins, right? With shattered circles, you can do all kinds of shapes. But with pumpkins, you want to kind of keep it to that curved shape, right? So I'm cutting there. I'm going to cut another rounded one here. This is why rotary cutter is really awesome for this project rather than your scissors. So I have mine all cut apart. I'm going to place it, not touching, none of my pieces touching, onto my background here. I want my pumpkin not perfectly straight. I want it to be a little on the tilted side. I'm going to kind of play around with it. That's a little bit funny. So we'll try this way. Oh, I like that a little bit better. It's a little too tilted, so maybe we'll come back just a little bit. Just kind of play with it till you're happy with it. You could spread yours out farther if you want, but I like about no more than 1/4 of an inch between my pieces, really, because you want your eye to see, it will see the positive spaces and ignore those negative spaces and make it one whole shape. Okay, does that make sense? So there is my little pumpkin, and I have, I drew a stem on the back of my fusible webbing and placed it on my brown fabric. So now I'm going to cut that piece out, and it just takes a second. And I can stick my stem right on. I guess I should take my paper off of my fusible webbing, or fusible adhesive, right? I really love Misty Fuse and Steam Seam too. They're the only two I really use. I like Misty Fuse a lot, and that's what's on the back of my pumpkin. I like it if I want to cover a large amount of fabric, and if I'm going to do many layers, because Misty Fuse is so light and it doesn't leave needle holes when I'm quilting. Now Steam Seam is super easy to use because it's sticky. So wherever I place this, it is going to stick where I put it, where Misty Fuse does not, unless you just tap it with your iron. So I could do, this is a little funny, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to put my stem. That's about where it should go, I think. So I'm going to put it a little more in like that. And I'm just going to kind of keep messing with it till I'm happy with it. Now that's about all I do. And then we press this and quilt it up. You can add beads. You can just stitch it a lot. You can add yarn. I've been thinking about adding some fun yarn and couching the edges. Now, if I decide to do that, I will add that to the video and show you on here, because I think that would be really pretty. You could get some pretty yarn and just stitch a vine coming out of here, like wind a little vine like that would be on a pumpkin. That'd be a lot of fun. So this is too plain for my liking. So I want to make sure that I add some embellishing to it, like the beads. But that's the point of the shattered circles, is to practice your beading skills, your embroidery skills, to add some bling. So because I'm the couching queen, I decided I needed to couch the pumpkin. So I found this really fun nylon yarn that's a copper color. It was in my stash, and all I did was laid it down along the edge, and I stitched it with my sewing machine with a straight stitch. I didn't use a special couching foot or anything. You can do this. It's so easy. I just stitched it down all the way around each section, and that's all. And it just adds a lot of fun to it. So now I want to quilt it, and I don't know. I don't think I'm going to add any beads. I'm thinking we're just going to leave it plain like this. But I really love this yarn. It really took the pumpkin to a higher level. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. For more like it, just hit that subscribe button below and check out the rest of our YouTube channel. You'll also find videos and tutorials on everything art quilts, whether you're just beginning or learning to enhance your skill.